Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another episode of the Fall of Ramah. This is our series of Warhammer 40,000 Kill Team Battle Reports, and this is Battle Report number 6 of our Fall of Ramah campaign. It's fought between my two friends Dark Lord Mac as well as Odeth. Dark Lord Mac is bringing the Golden Sons of the Thousand Sons, the Golden Scions of the Thousand Sons, I apologize. And my buddy Odeth is bringing the Cradle of Filth of the Death Guard. This is the good old-fashioned Chaos versus Chaos Kill Team match between the servants of the Chaos Demon Sneech as well as the Chaos God of Plagues, Nurgle. So we're going to be seeing what these guys can do on the battlefield. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, they're playing a Disrupt the Supply Line scenario. We're going to play some background music real quick. If you want to see exactly what each of the kill teams is bringing, go ahead and pause and take a look at your own leisure. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll. Alright, let's talk about the scenario for this one. The scenario rules is Disrupt Supply Lines. Pretty much the idea of this scenario is that the defender must protect 3 objective markers that are scattered on their deployment area, and they're going to defend it from the attacker, who of course is trying to destroy these 3 objective markers. Whoever controls an objective marker by the end of the scenario earns 3 victory points apiece. The attacker earns an additional victory point for each objective marker they manage to destroy. Also, players also earn 1 victory point if they manage to break their opponent's kill team in this battle report. Whoever has the most victory points by the end of the scenario is the winner. For the resources, if the attacker wins, the defender loses 2 points of material, and if the defender wins, the attacker loses 1 point of morale. So with the scenario rules over, let's go and talk about the battle plan real quick. Alright, so here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the battlefield for the battle plan. As you can see, my friends are playing in the Sector Imperialis tabletop. On the left-hand side, my buddy Odeth with his Cradle of Filth is deployed on the left-hand side. My friend Dark Lord Mac with his Golden Scions are deployed on the right-hand side. Now, what the battle plan is for these, for my friends, I'm really not sure because I'm not playing the game. I'm just taking photographs for our campaign. So it looks like what they're pretty much going through is kind of like a 3-pronged attack. Looks like they got people on the bottom of the board and the center as well as the top to intercept each other. So that's what I'm kind of guessing what they're trying to do here. And that pretty much makes up the battle plan for this one. So the battle plan over, let's go talk about deployment real fast. Alright, so starting off with the Death card over here in the bottom of the screen, we have the Malignus Dire Song, that is a combat specialist who's armed with a Plague Flail for the Death Guard, as well as the two Poxwalkers from the members of the Mask of Reek, and they're right next to the very first of the objective markers, right there on the bottom of the screen. In the middle of the deployment zone for my friend Odeth, he's got 2 members of his kill team for the Cradle of Filth, or 2 Plague Marines. Up in the front, that is Bubo the Rancid, that is his demolitions expert who's taking point. And right behind him is Golgor Muttermole, that guy's armed with a Blight Launcher as well. He's also a heavy gunner. He's also his heavy specialist for his kill team as well. And they're located right above objective marker number 2, and look like they're providing overwatching fire for that part. And finally, on the top of the deployment zone are the last 2 members of his kill team. On the top, that is Goldcore Muttermole. He's just a normal Plague Marine. He's armed with a plasma gun. And then right beneath him, that is Sherlo the Ribbon. That is the leader of this group, this warband. He's a Plague Champ. He's got a Power Fist as well as a plasma gun. So he's pretty much kitted out for kill as well. And he's located right next to objective marker number 3. And that pretty much makes the deployment for the Cradle of Filth for this one. Meanwhile, across the table on the bottom of the screen there, that is the deployment for the Thousand Sons for Dark Lord Mac. Up in the front, that is Anku, that is his Zangor Twistbray combat specialist. That's one of his specialists right there on the top. And right behind him, I believe that is Ron, which is one of the Regroup Marines, which is armed with a normal Inferno bolt gun. And that makes up his deployment there on the bottom of the screen. In the center of his deployment area on the top of the gantry walkways in the front, that is Ammon Hip of the Light, that is his heavy specialist armed with a Soul Reaper autocannon. And right behind him is his leader, which is an aspiring sorcerer, that is Sekinre the Illuminator. He's also got a Side Bolt ability as well, that's also his leader. And then right there in the middle of the table. And then finally we got the last 2 members of the kill team. We have Caliphus, which is basically one of the Thousand Sun Rupert Marines, which is armed with an Inferno Bolt Gun. And right behind him, I believe that is Calazar on Fire, which is his veteran who's armed with a Warp Flamer. And that pretty much makes it his deployment for this one. So with the deployment over with, my 2 friends will offer initiative to see who goes first for turn number 1. Alright, so that goes directly to the top of turn number 1 for the Death Guard. They managed to take the initiative on this one, and for the most part, as you can see here, not much movement really takes place for the Death Guard, which kind of makes sense because Plague Marines aren't very fast. Nurgle units are usually kind of slow going, and that's because they have a higher toughness rating. So for pretty much the only dramatic movement he really did is he took Malignus Dire Song as well as his 2 Poxwalkers, and he advanced them back to be on the bottom floor right beneath the right next to objective mark number 2, right below Golcore Butter Mold as well as Bebo the Rancid. It looks like he's kind of going for a defended, corner type of castling type of deployment. So he looks like he's doing there in the second there, which pretty much leaves open objective mark number 1 wide open. But then again, at the same time though, if my other friend Dark Lord Mac decides to send his forces to objective number 1, I guess my friend O'Death could actually countercharge and destroy him that way for the most part. As for the top there, Bubo Rancid as well as Golcore Mother Mold, they just put ready markers next to them because they want to be able to shoot in the next shooting phase. And it looks like that my friend did exactly the same thing with his leader as well as his which is Gerlach Motor Mold as well as Sherlock the Revan. He puts ready markers on them as well so that way they can shoot if they need to. At the same time, my buddy Dark Lord Mac, he actually moves up the normal movement allowance for Amenhotep of the Light as well as Security of the Illuminator, so that way they're in the movement distance. They're not going to be able to get shot at by the Plague Marines because the way they're kind of situated, they're out of line of sight because the gantry walkway protects them. At the same time, on the bottom of the screen, though, the rest of his kill team, Anku, Kalasar on Fire, Ron, and Caliphus, all those guys advance forward as quick as they can across the battlefield, making their way to objective number 1. And that pretty much makes the move phase on this one. Here's a close-up of Sherlock the Ribbon as well as Golcore Mother Mold. Those guys are standing where they're supposed to with their plasma guns with ready markers, getting ready to shoot. Unfortunately for them, though, they do not have a line of sight towards the Thousand Suns, so they will not be able to do any shooting this turn. And here's a close-up of Gerlach Mother Mold as well as Bebo the Rancid, Malignus Dire Song, and the 2 members of the Mask of Reeking. They're just kind of taking cover positions and just kind of standing their ground as well. And that pretty much makes the move phase of the Death Guard. For the Thousand Suns, we have Anku as well as Kalasar on Fire taking point. Right behind him is Caliphus as well as Ron. The 2 Rurik Marines right behind them lending support, and they're advancing across the battlefield as quickly as they can. And finally, there's a close-up of Amenhotep of the Light as well as Security of the Illuminator, moving up towards the center of the gantry walkway. They can't really be shot at, and they can't really shoot anybody else either, because nobody has line of sight. So that pretty much ends the phase, because there's no shooting, there's no fighting, there's no end phase to be spoken of, because no one's taking casualties. So because of that, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and my friends roll off for initiative to see who goes first. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Death Guard, once again taking the initiative on this one. And as you can see in this photo, my friend has actually done quite a bit of dramatic movement. The first thing he does, he charges forward with his 2 members of the Mask of Reeking, his 2 Poxwalkers. One of them managed to charge directly into Anku, so because that Anku is now engaged in close combat. The other Poxwalker doesn't quite make it, but he still moves up his maximum movement allowance from the charge. And the reason was because Poxwalkers are good human shields, and that's exactly what they're designed to do. At the same time, he does take Malignus Dire Song as combat specialist, moving directly to objective arc number 1 to protect it. At the same time, he also drops Bebo the Rancid from his catwalk down to protect objective mark number 2. He does charge forward, however, with his with Golcore, the Golcore Motor Mold. Unfortunately for him, though, he doesn't manage to. Sorry, he doesn't charge them. Sorry, he advances with them. Is what he ends up doing. And the reason why he does that is so that way he can start shooting at him during the shooting phase. However, that does put him into good charge distance from my opponent. Not from my opponent, from my friend Dark Lord Mac. Now, Dark Lord Mac does charge forward with his 2 members on the top of the walkway. I believe he sends in Sekina the Illuminator as well as Amenhotep of the Light. Now, because he's being charged at, he can Overwatch. My friend O'Death does. So he decides to Overwatch onto Sekina the Illuminator. He actually managed to put that guy out of action originally. Managed to hit him twice with his Blight Launcher. Actually managed to put, I think, 4 wounds on him. So because of that, Sekina the Illuminator should be dead. However, there is a tactic that the Rubric Marines can use called, I believe it's called Automaton or something like that is what it's used for, which basically means that instead of, going out of action, they can spend 2 command points and actually put a flesh wound on him instead, and that's exactly what he does. So because of that, Sekina the Illuminator does come back to life, and he does successfully charge into Golcore Motor Mold. So that part is kind of rough. At the same time, as you can see below, he just moves up the rest of his kill team up their normal moon allowance and sending Kalasar on Fire, I believe, to the top of the screen, while Ron and Caliphus move over there to the left-hand side because he wants to be able to shoot those guys in the shooting phase. And that pretty much makes the move phase on this one. Here's a close-up of the bottom of the board. As you can see that Caliphus as well as Ron are moving their way to the left-hand side while Anku is engaged with one of the Raskin Meeking. At the same time, my friend also moves up Kalasar on Fire to get within shooting range of his Warp Flamer against the other Poxwalker. Here's a close-up of Malignus Dire Song as well as Bebo the Rancid protecting objective marker 1 and 2 for Odeth on his side of the deployment zone. And here's a close-up of Securing the Illuminator as well as Amenhotep of the Light charging directly into Golkor Muttermold, engaging him into close combat as well. Gerlach Muttermold, rather, engaging him in close combat as well. You can see the flesh wound that Securing the Illuminator took as you charge across the battlefield to go against him. Normally he would be out of action, but because of that stratagem, he was able to stand his ground and make it, only take a flesh wound for his troubles. At the same time, here's a close-up of Golkor Muttermold as well as the champion Shirlo the Riven taking positions down the second floor where they can shoot with their plasma rifles if they have to. And that pretty much makes the move phase on this one. So with the move phase, we skip the psychic phase because Securing the Illuminator is engaged in close combat. We go directly to the shooting phase. And in the shooting phase, both Round and Caliphus managed to take down Malignus Dire Song, actually managed to put a out of action roll on him. So because that Malignus Dire Song does go out of action, he will need to roll up on the injury table after the scenario is over with to see what happens to him. At the same time, Calazar on Fire just lights up the last of the Poxwalkers, the Mask of Reeking, and just sets that guy back to the afterlife with a sheet of warp flames. So he'll need to roll up on the synergy injury table as well. So with the shooting phase over, we go directly to the combat phase, and needless to say, Anku managed to put the smackdown onto this Mask of Reeking Poxwalker. I believe he has like 4 attacks when it ends up happening with his Zangar blades, plus being a combat specialist, and 2 attacks base. So because of that, he had no problem whatsoever just putting the hurting on the Mask of Reeking. So because of that, my friend Odeth will need to roll for this injury able to see exactly what happens to him as well. Meanwhile, the Battle of the Catwalk, not much really happens. There's actually flubbing on both sides. Neither side could put wounds or hits on the other, so because of they're both engaged in close combat still, with no signs of it ending anytime soon. So with the combat phase over, we go directly to the end phase, which my friend Odeth managed to pass. So we go directly to the top of turn number 3, and my friends roll off for initiative to see who will go first. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 3, and this time the Thousand Suns get to go first, so because of that, Golden Ramah does take initiative on this one. The first thing that he decides to do is that he decides to move his forces forward as quickly as he can towards the other side of the battlefield. I believe he advances what he does, but his advance rolls are actually kind of low. First of all, he sends, I believe that is Caliphus there on the left-hand side, kind of jumps over the wall there to start moving towards objective mark number 1, while Calazar on Fire, Anku, as well as Ron, they make their way towards the objective mark number 2 there at the top of the center of the screen. At the same time, the rest of the battlefield for the rest of the time, my friend Odeth decides to disengage with Gerlach Muttermold. So because of that, he breaks contact away from the other 2 members of the River Marines and moves back in order to get away from them. At the same time, my friend Dark Lord Mac decides to keep those 2 guys in the top so that way he can activate them during the shooting phase. Bebo the Ransom pulls back, and the other 2 Plague Marines, Shirlo the Riven, as well as Golkor Muttermold, they decided to stand on the ground so that they could open up with their plasma guns. And that pretty much makes the move phase on this one. So here's a close-up of Caliphus, Calazar on Fire, Anku, as well as Ron making their way towards the objective markers 1 and 2 on the bottom of the screen. And here's a close-up of Gerlach Muttermold, as well as Amenhotep of the Light, as well as Securing the Illuminator, staying in their positions there on the top of the catwalk. And finally, here's a close-up of Bebo the Rancid, as well as Shirlo the Riven, as well as Golkor Muttermold, defending objective marker number 3. So with the move phase over, we go directly to the shooting phase. And for the most part, the shooting phase only pretty much took place at the top of the screen. I believe it was the combined fires of Golkor as well as Shirlo the Riven who managed to put Sekinre the Illuminator out of action. Unfortunately, my friend, he just did not have enough command points to bring back that character again. So because that, he decides to activate Amenhotep of the Light. He does use the more bullets ability for his strategy, so because he opens up with 5 shots of a Soul Reap autocannon directly across the straightaway towards Golkor Muttermold, managed to put that guy out of action as well. So because of that, my friend Odeth loses another Plague Marine, and my friend Dark Lord Mac actually loses his very first casualty of this battle report. Both of them managed to pass some morale tests during the end phase, so because of that, I go directly to the top of turn number 4, and my friends roll off for initiative to see who goes first. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top at turn number 4 for the Death Guard. They managed to get the initiative on this one. As you can see, some dramatic movement has taken place. First of all, Caliphus actually moves directly into objective mark number 1, which he then spends 2 command points in order to destroy that objective, netting him 3 victory points. At the same time, he also moves up Calazar on Fire, Anku, as well as, Ron, directly to the top of objective mark number 2. Golkor Muttermold, so not Golkor, Gerlach Muttermold, who's on the catwalk there, he moves in order to take aim with his Blight Launcher to cause some pain. At the same time, I believe Bebo the Rancid, as well as Sherlock, the Riven, they managed to maintain their positions right where they're at. Same thing with the Ammonite with the Light, he just kind of stands his ground so that way he can open fire with his Soul Reaper autocannon. And here's a close-up of the movement phase with Caliphus destroying the very first of the objective marker, earning 3 victory points for the Thousand Suns. At the same time, you can see Kalazar on fire, as well as Anku, as well as Ron making their way to objective marker number 2. And here's a close-up of Goldcore, Motor Mold, Sherlo the Riven, as well as Ammonite with the Light, kind of standing their ground, getting ready to fight in the next phase. However, it's this point that my friend Odette decides to call the game at this point because he realizes he won't be able to move out any further. Plus, turn number 4, plus he doesn't lose more Death Guard than he originally has. So because of the Thousand Suns do manage to win this scenario, and that takes us directly to the post game because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, so let's go and talk about the Cradle of Filth real quick. So, for their injuries, they actually lost 3 members of their kill team. That's Goldcore Motor Mold, Malignus Dire Song, as well as 2 members of the Mask of Reek. All 4 members of the kill team actually made full recovery, so no harm, no foul there. For advancements, actually 4 members of this kill team did actually advance forward. Sherlo the Riven became a level 2 leader, earned the Inspiring skill, as well as Fire My Target tactic. Gerlach Motor Mold, the level 2 heavy, also leveled up as well. He earned extra armor as well as overwhelming firepower tactic. Malignus Dire Song, the combat specialist, he also leveled up to level 2. He learned the warrior adept ability as well as a defensive fighter tactic. And Bubo the Rancid, the level 2 demolition expert, he also leveled up as well. He learned the Grenadier skill as well as a lucky escape roll as well. As you can see for their resources, their intelligence is now at 8, material is at 6 because they lost the scenario, with morale and territory being 8 points apiece. Their new record now stands at 1 win as well as 1 loss, and their new kill team force is at 116 points. And finally, for the Golden Scions in this one, they only actually had 1 injury for this kill team. That was Sid Kenray the Illuminator, the leader. He made a full recovery. They actually had 4 advances take place on this one. Sid Kenray the Illuminator leveled up to level 2 for leader, learning the Inspiring skill as well as Fire My Target tactic. Kalazar on fire leveled up to level 2 veteran. He learned the Practiced skill as well as the Well Drilled tactic as well. And both Ron and Caliphus of the fire team, they leveled up to level 2 as well. And they also got the lucky rolls, so that's actually pretty good for them as well. When it comes to the resources, their intelligence is 8, materials at 8, morale is at 8, as well as their territory is at 6, because they did lose their very first scenario, but they actually won their second one, so that's their new current layout for the resources. Their new record now is at 1 win as well as 1 loss, and the new kill team force is at 112 points. So that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, blogger.com, as well as Instagram for all the latest and greatest news about our hobby aspect. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to take a look at those. You guys take it easy, keep it classy, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.